The sound of chalk scratching on the board fills the room as Professor Kim Tae-hyung explains complex equations. His sharp suit clings to him perfectly, and his deep voice holds the class attention. But Vian's mind is elsewhere. Her eye stays fixed on him not as her professor, but as her husband. The secret is one she carries alone. To the world they are strangers. To her he is her cold, distant husband, forced into her life by her family's arrangements. Not only him, but she was also forced in his life too. But Vine was trying to make it work, but Taehyung's coolness was not letting anything work out. Vine tried many times to confront him, and every time it ends up with a little argument, or him just ignoring her like she doesn't exist, either by saying he's busy or going out with his friends. As the class ends, students pack up and leave. Vine lingered behind, watching as he organized his notes. She was waiting for him, or maybe hoping that he'll start a conversation with her or recognize her existence. But no, he left. You knew my car was not working. Still, you left. I was hoping for him to ask me to go home together. He saw me this morning when my car wasn't working. But he left me and I had to come by bus. But I'm not gonna leave you, Mr. Kim. I'm your responsibility and you have to take me seriously. I packed my bag and exited classroom going toward his office. Taehyung was working on some stuff when the door knocked. Yes, he looked up and saw Wine entering the office. He knew my car was broken. He humped and I became more. Till you didn't ask me to come with you in the morning. I was getting late. I looked up at her. Also, I can't afford anyone seeing us together. I again started working on some papers. I was ready. I was also getting late. Are you that embarrassed of me that you are afraid of being seen together with me? Why don't start arguing again like you always do. Can't you see I'm working? Go by bus. I don't know how much time will it take. Fine. I turned on my heels and left from there. I knew I would have either him or myself if I stayed even one more second. Tiang took a heavy sigh, staring at the door from where Vine left. Mom, Dad, what a mess you guys created in our lives. Vine was staring at Tiang with a burning gaze. If eyes could, it would have been months ago. Vine, why are you glaring at Mr. Kim with such a scary gaze? I know he didn't give you good marks in the quiz, but you're not alone. Everyone got bad marks. You know him and his marking. So calm down, my daughter. Take a chill pill. You know Vine's bestie sealed her lips when Vine glared at her. Fine, I'm not speaking anything. Continue your glaring. Maybe you get. Vine again glared at her and she turned her head toward the board, pretending to be listening to the lecture. Everyone be quiet. I knew it was Vine and her bestie whispering, sitting on the second row. I didn't say it directly to her as I knew she was throwing glares toward me because I didn't attend the family dinner with her last night. As the class ends, students pack up and start leaving. I stayed behind. Vine, you go, I'm coming in a few minutes. I have to ask something from Mr. Kim related to upcoming assignment. She nodded and left. Today I'll get my answers, Mr. Kim. Once the room is empty, I approach his desk. He doesn't look up. Miss Vine, do you need something? His tone is polite but distant, as if they share no connection. Vine's just tightens, but she smooths her courage. Yes, we need to talk. Not now, not here. Then when and where, Theo? You have been avoiding me. He finally looks at me, his expressions unreadable. Cause I know what you want to talk about and I don't want to make a scene here. Don't start an argument here. If you know what I want to ask, then answer me why. He scanned his surroundings to make sure no one was watching us. It's my choice where I want to be and where I don't. Kyung spoke in a stern tone. Vine was feeling so hurt. She was trying not to break down in front of him. I felt humiliated, and it's not the first time you're doing it. I'm tired of answering their questions. I'm tired of trying to make it work all alone while you are doing nothing and just treating me like I don't exist. Is it that hard to at least treat me like a friend? Kyung felt frustrated. Vine, this marriage wasn't our choice. I'm trying to bear it, but you're making it harder. His words hit like a slap. Tears threatened to fall, but Vine refused to let him see her weakness. Fine, I won't make it harder for you anymore, I whispered. She turned and started leaving, her heart breaking with every step. Behind her, Taeyong doesn't say a word. Vine started ignoring Taeyong just like he used to ignore her. She used to sit in the front or second row, but she started sitting in the farthest corner of the classroom in his class, avoiding his gaze. She had made up her mind to keep her distance to give him the space he so clearly wants. At home, she leaves early and returns early, making dinner, eating it, and setting his on the table. After that, she doesn't come out of her room, ensuring she doesn't cross paths with him. She stopped eating meals with him. She refused to go to family dinner, saying they are busy. But Young realizes how completely she has withdrawn from him. Young notices. He watches her during class, his gaze lingering when Vine refuses to look his way. At home, he hears the faint sounds of the door closing upstairs. Whenever he hears the sound opening or closing, he comes out of his room. But Vine ignores him or goes back to in her room. Am I mistaken or mistaken is really staring at our side a little too much for the past few days. Why did we mess up our assignment? Shut up, kiddo. Focus on the lecture. No talking in my class. Miss Yuna and Miss Hines stand up and sit in the front row. Nice try, Mr. Kim, I thought. But I can't disagree as he is still my professor. So I stood up glaring at him and sat in the front row. Of course he ignored my glares as always. It has been days since Wine was ignoring Taehyung. It was quite evening and Taehyung was sitting alone in the living room, staring at the clock. The house feels too quiet, too empty. His thoughts spiral back to the last conversation they had, the hurt in Wine's eyes, and the silence that followed. I was trying to protect her. She's a student. I didn't want her reputation to suffer, but I only pushed her away. And it's she got married at such a young age. I didn't want to disturb her studies because of this forced relationship. I thought I was doing this for her own good. Was I wrong? He exhaled shakily, running a hand through his hair. Van, what have I done? He whispered. By the next lecture, his patience snaps. After class, he orders Ryan to stay behind. Miss Ryan, stay back. I have something to discuss with you related to your assignment. The other students leave their curious glances, making Ryan nervous. Once the room is empty, I gather my things slowly, unsure of what you want. What are you doing? What do you mean? If it's not anything important, I'll leave, Mr. King. I was about to leave when he caught my wrist, stopping me. Why are you ignoring me? She turned around and lifted her chin, meeting my gaze for the first time in days. My voice is steady, but my heart is heavy. I'm not. It's obvious. Because you said it yourself, we're just pairing this marriage. I'm making it bearable for you. I'm giving you what you wanted. You wanted space. His jaw tightens and he steps closer. There's something different in his eyes, something raw, unguarded. I didn't mean it like that. You meant it more than that. I understood everything. I'm doing what you wanted. You should be happy now. Why listen to me? Let me be honest with you this time, or I'll regret it if I don't. There was something in his eyes which was telling Ryan to listen to him. He was desperate. I thought keeping my distance would protect you. I didn't want people questioning your success or your reputation because of me. Ryan blinked, caught off guard by his confession. Her silence spurs him on. But I've been a fool. Ryan, I thought I was doing the right thing, but I was only hurting you and myself. Every time you avoid me, it feels like a part of me is missing. His voice cracked slightly, and Vine saw the guilt etched on his face. Before she can speak, he takes another step forward, cupping her face gently, catching her off guard. I didn't realize it until now, but I care about you more than I should, more than I thought I ever could, and it terrifies me. Taeyong, his words take my breath away. Tears spilled down Vine's cheeks as he whispered, I care about you too, Taeyong. I've cared about you since the beginning. I didn't think you'd ever feel the same. I thought you hated me. His thumb brushes away my tears as he leans closer, his voice a softly. I never did, and I could never do. Let me make it up to you. Let me be the husband you deserve. Thank you. Before I can respond, her eyes widened in shock. After a few minutes, I came back on earth, but full of emotions, apology, longing, and a promise of something new. I felt my cheeks more wet, assuming he was crying too. My walls crumbling as I let myself feel everything I've been holding back. I earned my apology. She smiled and I rested my forehead on hers, feeling each other's presence and warmth. I wiped her tears, she wiped mine. Outside the classroom, two girls lingered, their phone raised. Did you get it? Every second. Let's see how Miss Perfect explains this on graduation day. Attention seeker. Their laughter echoes as they walk away. The auditorium is alive with excitement as students sit in their caps and gowns, waiting for their names to be called. Wine sits among them, nervously clutching her hands. There's a buzz of whispers around her, and she notices the curious glances being cast in her way. Am I being paranoid? Why is everyone looking at me like that? The Vice Chancellor takes the stage, his face unusually serious. The cheerful atmosphere shifts as murmurs ripple through the crowd. Before we begin the ceremony, there is a matter that requires our attention. Suddenly, the massive screen behind the stage lightens up. A blurry yet recognizable picture of Vine and Taehyung in an empty classroom appears with bold text flashing underneath. Vine took advantage and Professor Kim Taehyung without his consent. Gasps filled the room, followed by hushed voices turning into outright judgment. She, how disgusting. Professor Kim is so respectful and professional. She must have tried to. She didn't even respect their relation as a student and professor. She should be punished. Her degree should be confiscated for at least a year. She's spoiling university's image. Vine froze, her cheeks burning with humiliation. The whisper grew louder. venomous accusations circling around her. Her heart pounds as she glances at Taehyung sitting with the faculty. I wasn't able to think straight. If I don't reveal our relationship, I'll be humiliated and my image will be tarnished. But Taehyung didn't want to reveal our relationship. I look toward him again. His expression is hard, his jaw clenched tightly. He looks furious. As the VC clears his throat to continue, Taehyung abruptly stands. Without a word, he strides toward the stage, his presence commanding the room's attention. The whisper stops as he grasps the microphone. I'll address this myself. I said with a calm but firm tone. The audience fell silent. Taehyung's deep voice resonates through the room. Wine's palms were getting sweatier. Tears were falling non-stop from her eyes. Yes, the photo is real. And yes, Wine and I. But let me make one thing clear. Wine's eyes widened. Everyone started whispering nonsense again. How disgusting. It's illegal to date a student. Despite the low murmurs, Taehyung continued. This wasn't some inappropriate relationship between a professor and a student. Then what is it? You're tarnishing the university's image. Don't you have any shame? This is what you do with students. You should be fired. I'll see who fires me in my own university. Everyone gasped. My university's honors are the Kims. He's son of Kim Dae-hyun. He pauses, his gaze sweeping over the crowd before landing on Vian. His eyes soften briefly before turning steely again. Vian is my wife. The room erupts in gasps and shocked whispers. Jiang raises a hand to silence them. Our marriage was arranged by our families when we were children. Our families have been close friends and business partners for years. We are not dating illegally, nor there is anything improper about our relationship. We are married legally and with our family's blessing. My voice as I continues. I will not allow anyone to question Vian's ability or tarnish her reputation. She has worked than anyone here to earn her degree. Her achievements are hers alone and have nothing to do with me. The audience stares in stern silence. A few girls in crowd look visibly jealous, their face twisting with frustration. They all assumed Taehyung was single. Wine glanced at Taehyung, her heart swelling with gratitude and mischief. Smirking, she blew him a playful flying. His lips twitched as he chuckled softly, shaking his head, knowing very well she was trying to make everyone jealous, as many boys had crushed on Wine, as she was so beautiful, and many girls had crushed on Taehyung, as he was so handsome. If anyone has an issue with this, feel free to talk to me, and I apologize for my behavior. I should not have my wife in classroom. He looked at Wyatt and they both smirked, adding more salt to everyone's wound. The authority in his voice leaves no room for argument. Young steps down from the stage, walking toward Wyatt with a calm but protective demeanor. Her heart races as he gives her a subtle wink. He sat beside her and everyone caught shock. He kneels slightly, speaking just loud enough for Wyatt to hear. I'm sorry for everything. I'll protect you from now on. I won't let anyone come between us. I wiped her tears. I thought you didn't want it to reveal our relationship. If that was the case, I wouldn't have in the classroom, knowing very well that anyone could walk on us. Vian blushed. Tears filled her eyes again as she nodded, his words breaking through the last of her doubts. He wiped it again. Stop crying. You look beautiful with a smile. Vian blushed and smiled. Jung sat beside, making everyone gasp. Wait, I'm her guardian as well. Can't I sit with her? The judgmental whispers are gone, and the ceremony continues as planned with Taehyung and Wine being lovey-dovey without caring about anyone. They knew this day will be the one no one forgets. The tension lifts as the student and the faculty show their support. They stand outside, the sun painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. The cool breeze brushes past them as they face each other. Thank you for standing up for me. I'll always stand up for you. I've been a coward, but not anymore. I'm ready to be the husband you need, the one you deserve. He takes her hand, his touch warm and reassuring, and the back of it gently. We didn't choose this marriage, but I'm choosing you now completely. Her gently and pulled her in a gentle embrace. She knew this is the beginning of something real. Their silhouettes stand against the setting sun, two hearts finding their way to each other.